Time now for the Garden of Life Women's 1500 meter final. Here is Ellie St. Pierre. Now, we haven't misspelt that or missed a name. She's decided to drop the Pierre for now. Ellie St. Pierre. That'll take a little bit of getting used to, Kara.
It will. You know, she dominated the Olympic trials here last year, leading the entire race, running under 4 minutes. St. Pierre really set herself up to be the next great global 1500 meter star for the United States, and she won a silver medal this year already at the World Indoor Championships.
Here is the 24-year-old from Longwood, Florida. This is Sinclair Johnson.
Sinclair Johnson is on a tear. She is the person who could disrupt the field here today. She PR'd by nearly 5 seconds, being the first American at the pre-meet just last month, and she has been on fire, really finding herself as an athlete and finding her speed. She switched groups, got a little bit more speed under her belt, and became a 3:58 1500 meter runner.
Winning her semi-final, Corey McGee.
Corey McGee considers Hayward her magical place. She was the only athlete last year that stuck herself to St. Pierre and really took a huge risk. It totally paid off. She ran a big personal best, qualified for the Olympic Games. She PR'd again at pre last month. She's been working on her strength. She feels like that's the one weakness she has, and she's been working on that this year, hoping she can be there when the kicking starts.
Let's keep this number in mind because Ellie St. Pierre has the meet record at a 3:58.03. We'll deal with that when we get closer to the finish of this Garden of Life Women's 1500 meter final. There's a national championship on the line. The top 3 will get placings to return here to Hayward in just 3 weeks' time for the World Championships. Women's 1500, here we go.
You know, Lee, every single woman after the prelim said they expected this final to be fast. They expected it to be hot, but that means someone has to go to the front and take it. And so will one of these athletes sort of sacrifice themselves to get this race going? And as we see right now, they are off the line quick, and now they are bunched. And this is when it gets dangerous. This is when you see people trip up and you see people fall down.
Helen Schlachtenhaufen was one of those looking around, kind of jostling for positions, and there's a lot of looking around at the moment. Who's going to take the front? Who's going to set the pace? Who is going to set the mood for this Garden of Life Women's 1500 meter final?
And we're going to see here, I see Kirsta Schweitzer from the Bowerman Track Club. She won the 10,000 meters here. She is the U.S. champion at 10,000. She is already qualified for the World Championships, and she is running this to work on her speed. She's a 4-minute 1500 meter runner, but she's done it with even pace. I don't think she wants to see this thing lag too far behind. She's also expected to come back in the 5,000 tomorrow.
And by the way, she said, don't expect the triple. There's not going to be a 1,500, 5,000, 10,000. I'll focus on the 5 and the 10. And to your point, this will help me work on the speed. Here comes Ellie St. Pierre.
You know, St. Pierre got pushed around last year at the Olympic trials and did exactly this, said, I'm not going to mess around, I'm going to go to the front and take this. And we see moving up in the back, we see Schweitzer going with her, we see Sinclair Johnson has attached herself, and also we're going to see Heather McLean. She trains with St. Pierre. They are teammates, and she was the indoor national champion earlier this year. She's had COVID and was out of it for a little bit, but ran a 2-minute 800 all by herself, proving her fitness is there.
Don't discount in the yellow top, 5th in the line, just on the rail, is Nikki Hiltz, the 27-year-old from California. Nikki said, I want this to be a fast final as opposed to a tactical one. I really enjoyed the semis, so let's make this a fast one. I'm up for it.
You know, they all were expecting a fast one, and they are a little behind from what we would consider a very fast pace because they started out slowly, but we see it starting to crank now. We see the separation happening. We see the pack that was once so bunched start to string out. And Lee, seeing Schweitzer there is so crazy. She is the 10,000 meter American champion. She was an Olympian at 10,000 meters last year, and to see her sitting there in 2nd place right off of St. Pierre is really something to see. She believes that running these 1500s will help her get to that top 5 in the world and help her have that kick when it comes down to it at the end of the longer distances.
And believe it or not, Carissa said last year, even though it was an Olympic year, she didn't feel quite herself. She said she's feeling much fitter at this stage of the season, feeling better coming into these national championships with the Worlds just around the corner.
Well, she had Achilles surgery, and it looked like it went well, but here comes Corey McGee. She knows this is left too long. We can't have all these women sitting around, and you see them moving out slightly into lane 2. Now we have the 4 in front. They're getting ready for their kick. Heather McLean needs to close that gap. She's fallen off a little bit. She needs to move up in there as this pace starts to pick up.
And Corey McGee tucked in there, all in blue. And there is Schlachtenhaufen as well. Helen is in the mix, sitting in 6th at the moment.